People who commit crimes around people who commit crimes.
Puff, to an extent, did to other people what was done to him.
Basically, yeah. When I pulled Big out the car, I knew he was dead. I just looked this man in the eye and said, if we go to this party, someone's gonna die. He started making them feel uncomfortable.
He's making them uncomfortable.
Big Brother's been watching for a long time. I was in a situation when the guy said I put the gun to his head and beat him.
But we're talking about people with life-changing money, generational wealth, who are still out there like doing this stuff. Gene Deal, my brother, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome.
Absolute
Glad to
pleasure.
be here, bro.
Listen, you came here, bit of chaos on the way.
Yes,
but
it's all right.
I gotta say, of everyone I've done a podcast with, I've done almost 100 now, but this is the one I've wanted to do for a long time. For no reason other than the fact that, I think your life story speaks for itself. And I always say the best part about having a podcast is you can talk to whoever you want, right? So I don't care if someone's famous. I don't care if someone's like the most popular person in the world. I just want to talk to people that I vibe with. And I want to talk to people that I feel like I share a moral code with, similar ethics, because then I think it's organic and it's natural. And from everything that I've seen in your podcasts, I believe you're a man that's constantly stood on your morals and your ethics. And I think that's evident in your career and your behavior, how you've conducted yourself. And I think that's why you're still here, happy, doing the podcast circuits and living a good life. So I want to thank you personally for joining us. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you here.
I appreciate you with that.
My pleasure.
With that opening lines and what you're saying about me, man, you know, I thought you was talking about somebody else.
No, man, you're too humble.
I'm glad, man. I appreciate you.
So listen, for anyone that doesn't know, I'll do a quick intro. So, we're joined today by Gene Deal, a legend in the security protection game, with a career spanning decades, protecting some of the biggest artists on the planet, including the one and only Notorious B.I.G. and more. Today, we're here to capture his stories, tales, and events told by the man himself that encapsulate his amazing life story. We will uncover stories never before told on any other podcast. We thank Brother Gene for his time. Without further delay, let's get into the podcast. Gene, welcome. Now, I've also got a gift. This is I Want a Gummies. You can use 40% off. Just use the code Gene. This is for you. It's a gift from the podcast.
And you said when I want to focus, go to sleep, wake up, and have all the energy, I wanna is gonna wanna help me.
That's right.
I
and
appreciate
the code,
it, brother.
Just if you could repeat Gene 40% off, and these people can.
All right. I wanna wake up, focus, relax, and sleep. And with Gene, you get 40% off.
My pitch man right here. Now I'm gonna return the favor. I want you guys to listen up because I've read these books cover to cover. So we've got book 1, My World of Bodyguarding, a hip-hop superstar, and book 2, Life After Death, When Guarding a Hip-Hop Superstar. Life After Death, I read that on the plane, I couldn't put it down. And you said something really nice, which was I might be one of the first podcasters who's read the whole book cover to cover.
Right, you're the first one that ever told me they read my books.
That means a lot to me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I was saying to my boy on the way in, I'm like, I'm not sure if that says something about me in terms of my character, or that everyone else is just not up to that standard. I don't know which one it is.
I think that that's saying that you wanted to know the person more so than the story, because those books tell you who I am.
Correct.
How I grew up, you know, where I came from, how I got into the business, and then it gives you more detail about what was going on than what I may have said on podcast shows and other things.
Correct. And so, I mean, let's just kick it off. Like, how are you now? How's life?
Man, life is beautiful, man. Every day you wake up on this side of the world, you can't complain.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's something that I look forward to every day. I worked hard to get where I am, as far as retiring as a New York State parole officer, being a father, helping my girls get their college degree.
Your 3 beautiful girls?
My 3 beautiful girls, helping a stepson get his master's, as far as being there for him whenever he wanted me to be there for Just life is beautiful, man, especially when you don't have to go nowhere. You wake up and you retired. You don't have to be nowhere. You don't have to do nothing. I don't have any complaints. You complain to man, you don't believe in God's blessing.
I think to be fair, Jen, I think you've earned it. I think you showed a lot of loyalty to people, and I think karma's real, and I think at some point or another you're going to get rewarded for living a good life, or I think you're going to get punished for living a bad life. That's just my thoughts.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like I just said, a reward every day you wake up on this side of the world. That's 100%. A reward.
And what about the signs when you walked in? What was the first thing you saw in the studio?
Oh my God, I couldn't believe that, man. They had a poster big up there, man. And it used to hurt when I saw or heard his music, after everything has happened. And the pain was unreal, and people would never understand the pain and everything that I went through at one time. And then we just lost a great DJ, and he was a producer, Clark Kent. He helped take that pain away about a year ago. You know what I'm saying? He got on another podcast show, and he said that the night Big died, he went to Big's room, and Big asked him to go to London with him, to do the music and everything, because he was supposed to do this big thing for Arista Record in London. And he agreed to go to London with Big, and he asked Big what was he doing that night. And the Notorious Big told him, I'm going to this party that D-Rock and Puff set up for me. This is like something real emotional to me, because this is like God sent. And it's crazy, and I don't know why I started this whole conversation off like that, because it's emotional for me. Clark Kent was stricken with terminal cancer. Now, he had held that story in for years. For years. He know what I had said. He never told nobody that story before. You understand? And I guess because God put it in him to say, yo, make sure the world know that Gene was telling the truth when he said that D-Rock and Puff set Big up to go to that party. You understand? Make sure the world knows the truth. He came out on another podcast show and he said that. And when he said that, I broke down, and I broke down, bro. You understand? Because it relinquished some of the guilt that I had for Big even going to that party when I had no right, I had no authority, I had nothing to do with him going. But I couldn't stop him from going. But when he said that, I realized there's nothing I could have done that night to stop Big from going to that party. Because then another person came out. That was his partner, Rivera. And he said, I told Big to stay in the hotel, and I'm sending Heather Hunter and Janet Jackme over to your room. And if you know who they are, those are two porn stars. I'm just telling the truth. That's
no,
what
I know.
said,
It's just funny that like the lengths they went to.
Right, to keep them in the room.
Yeah, I know.
But the devil is always working, brother. The devil is always working, the truth of the matter. You understand? And when those two came out like that, man, it's just something that came over me, and I still get emotional about it, but because we lost a great one. But I don't share the guilt anymore.
I think having read your books, I feel like I've got like a special insight into this now. And one of the key things I took away was that you were riddled with a lot of guilt at the time. And, obviously I don't think you should have been. And, I know for a fact that you were the one talking the loudest about why people shouldn't go, and that, you were understaffed. And there was a comment you made in the book. You're like, well, you guys spent more on the funeral than you did on security. Mm-hmm. And I can't imagine how that must have felt, not being listened to. And then also after the fact, kind of taking unwarranted blame over the situation, which you should have had no blame over whatsoever, right? Do you feel more at peace now that now that the truth has started to come out? Do you feel like more at peace?
Well, when you have somebody that's in the protection rank, even though Big was not my principal, I knew the kid. You understand? Big has given me clothes. Big has given me shoes. You understand what I'm saying? Like those big companies will come to him and they'll say, "Do you want it? Do you want it?"
That's the
and if Big didn't want it, you know what I'm saying, he would give it to the persons that are around him. He'll ask D-Rock. He'd say, "D-Rock, you want this?" No. So he knows big sizes, and me and D-Rock and him was the ones who had the big size and stuff, big feet and everything, or, big clothes. Gene, you want it? I said, yeah, I ain't turning down nothing but my collar. So I would take it. So he was a good kid. And when you're around people that are good and cool, you're going to feel something if they lose their life or they get hurt in any kind of way. If you don't, you're just not human. So, because I was telling them and I had the feelings, and then I had intel from a couple of good people that was from the streets, from the prison system, I'm still going to have that guilt on me sometimes if everybody don't make it home. It's just like a soldier that's going to war, and he's in the troop. He may not know everybody in the troop, but he still want everybody that's with him on his side and on his team to make it home.
Yep. Yeah, no, I even recall a part in the book where there was another incident, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were at a club with, was it Slick? You're at the club with and someone got shot in that club? Let me quickly check my notes.
No.
Hang on, it was... So someone came in through the kitchen.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So would you tell us about that? Because, obviously it's emotional talking about someone that you've lost, that you had such a deep connection with, who meant so much to the world. But I think people don't know, you've been in situations where some innocent young man's copped a headshot, and you made a good comment in the book where you said, the people that went to the club that night, they didn't want to have that on their conscience for the rest of their lives.
Right.
They didn't want to remember that forever.
That was actually a New Year's Eve party.
So take me back to that story.
Right. That was a New Year's Eve party, and it was the same gang giving it with somebody else. And I was doing security for the front door, and we didn't have our whole security team. They only needed 2 people because the club had their own security. But D-Ferg wanted to make sure that everybody got searched at the door. So then they had me and a guy, Noah, out there searching. And I put in the book that after we finished searching you needed a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? Because it was...
You said something, you violated them?
Yeah, because it was a violation. You know what I'm saying?
Sexual misconduct.
Right now, we'll be locked up for that kind of searching. But back then, it was a type of situation whereas that we really searched everybody. So this dude who was a real gangster back in the day, and he went to jail, he pulled up to the party. And, it was strange seeing him because what happens is in New York City at that time, people that was hustling, gangsters, and people who was in the streets, they don't go out on Halloween, 4th of July, and New Year's. You understand? And for reason. 4th of July, it's a lot of firecracker, bang, bang, and all this, fireworks going off. So they don't want to get caught up in between this, not fireworks. And Halloween, people wear masks and everything, so they don't want to get caught, somebody run up on a mask and stuff like that. And then New Year's, you still have people, back in the day, they used to shoot up in the air the whole lot to celebrate New Year's here in America. So they didn't go out on those particular days. So this guy pulls up. And so then I said, "You going into the party?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, I got to search you, man." He said, "Yo, here it is, Gene." And he relinquished his weapon to me, and I still searched him. He said, "Yo, you know somebody in here with a gun?" And I was like, "Man, listen to me. Ain't nobody in this club in the gun." He said, Gene, they came through the kitchen. Now, I'm going to believe what he said because deep brother, he's in the street, he knows what's going on. So I went to go turn on the lights. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights. When I hit the 4th light, pow! They shot the kid in the back of the head and he fell to the floor. I was like, ran over there. The guy was laid out on the floor. And the streets were saying that they had been looking for that kid for a long time. And he had moved to Ohio or something like that, and he just came up for the weekend to party for the New Year's, and that's what happened. So,
how'd you feel after that?
I was effed up because somebody got killed when people came to celebrate the New Year, and that it was crazy that no matter how I thought I did a great job searching the front door, that somebody came through the back to get what they wanted, do what they wanted to do, and take somebody's life. So it showed me that it's certain things in life that you ain't gonna be able to change because you constantly fighting with evil, especially when you're trying to do good.
I feel like one thing that I've noticed consistently about you, and this is just from reading your books and researching your life story before we met, even just talking to you casually before we met, you seem to have a unique ruthlessness towards bad people, but also a unique kindness towards innocent people. Is that fair to say?
Well, I wouldn't say that because I've dealt with bad people all my life, even being a New York State parole officer. You know, I knew guys that were, you read their jacket and they were terrible. You understand? If they put their finger in holy water, it turned to piss. To be, that's how bad they were, bruh. You know what I'm saying? If you read their jacket and what they've done in their life. But everybody has the opportunity to change who they are as a person. You know what I'm saying? Do I agree with a lot of shit that bad people or people who are, no, I don't agree with that shit because you don't have to be that way. You understand? Would I try to save their life like I would somebody who is supposed to be good? Yeah, because that's me. That's not for me to judge, you know, if they're bad or good. You know, that's not for me to do. If I'm in a situation, it's for me to do what I can to help them, whether they're bad or good. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do. It sounds like it's a kind of like a redemption theory sort of thing as well, right? Like there's a bit of good in everyone sort of thing.
Well, you want to hope so.
Yeah.
You really want to hope so.
Otherwise you have too dark a view on the world.
Right.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful, bro. Okay. Listen, I got a few good ones. So like I said, I read this book cover to cover. So this will be a bit like we're going to take a little trip through time. But right, so growing up, so Midland High School, and you got expelled due to a lying principal. You got sent to Clavin Juvenile Detention Center. You got sent to live with extended family in Southside Chicago. And you wrote about a speech by, correct me if I'm wrong, Nikki Giovanni,
right,
where she said, "You come from a small part of the world, now go out and see the world." And saw the world you did. How did it feel going from a small area in Southside to traveling all over the world?
See, I didn't know her words was going to resonate inside me, but Nikki Giovanni, who was one of the greatest poets at that time and still is, that's what words and sometimes somebody's speech does to us as people. It hits something inside you and says to you, go out and see the world. You can always come back home.
That's what she said.
She said that.
Correct.
So now coming from Wellston, a place where it only had like 6,000 people, everybody knew everybody mama, So me coming to New York City, it wasn't a shock because I was here to see the world. I was actually supposed to go to Germany and play basketball, but I tore my meniscus in my knee. And back in, you got to realize in '86, if you had something like that, they wasn't fixing it like they fix it now. So the doctor told me that if I played basketball at that level, I'd be walking with a cane at the age of 50. So I started a career in, dealing with wayward kids, the same type of person I was at St. John's Cathedral at Manhattan Valley Youth Program. So I dealt with those kids until I became an investigator for child abuse. And then from an investigator to child abuse, working short, brief time at juvenile justice, then going to being a New York State parole officer. So me working around the community, I got to know everybody, got to know a lot of different people. So when you come to New York City, and I'm from, if you can make it in New York, from where I'm from, you can make it in Wellston, Missouri, you can make it anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So it was easy coming here, adapting, because I met some of the best people that you can meet in New York City. D. Ferg, ASAP Ferg father, my man Slick, John Bess, Alfonso Wyatt. These are people that were doing great for the community, you know what I'm saying, in their own capacity, however they was. Slick may have been an entrepreneur and a hustler, but he was doing the community well because he was giving block parties. He was giving situations where he was helping people, pay their rent by, supplying them with jobs at the game room, fish stores, and stuff like that he was a part of. You had Alfonso Wyatt and you had John Bess, who was working for the community, with the outreach programs. And you had D. Ferg, who was an individual who was designing, and doing artwork and making the best trends in the clothing and the just the gear for the streets. So I met those people. God had put them in a place for me to come with them, and then whatever I had to offer, it blended in with them, and it just made a beautiful life and a beautiful situation for me. And it's easy to be in this part of the world because I had been through so much struggle as a teenager. I understood the struggle is everywhere.
Oh, man, fuck, that was good. How did it feel? Because it's kind of 360, right? Because you went from being in the juvenile system to like contributing to it in like a positive capacity. How did it feel to go from being in the system to like working in the system and being able to help younger versions of you, if that's kind of,
I think that it's a blessing that when I was in Clayton Detention Center in St. Louis, Missouri, that the technology wasn't at the point whereas that it could reach to the East Coast.
Yeah.
That I was once a juvenile
I know where you're
delinquent.
going. Yeah, so you got away with some shit.
Yeah.
Pick up what you're putting down.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it just goes to show people that, you could have a person who can do something bad and get in trouble and then end up being that same person that saved people from doing stuff that's bad and in trouble. And I'm glad it never caught up to me.
I'm glad it never caught up to you too, brother.
Right.
Because maybe you wouldn't be here today. You know what I mean? I feel like
In that capacity, no.
100%. Look, I feel like when I hear you talk about Slick and the boys and like how, God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, put them in your path. I feel like God does put people in your path at the right place, at the right time, for the right reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're right. I feel like those people were put there for a reason, whether that's for good or for bad. And I think it's evident through your story that there were characters that were put there for a reason or that were put there for a lesson. Do you kind of agree with that theory as well, or?
That's life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's life, man. Everybody has a story. And it's how you tell your story and how you articulate what's going on with you that makes the book good.
I agree.
Right? And that you have a Slick, you have a John Best.
Can I tell you the crazy thing? In the book, I have goosebumps when you're talking. Correct me if I'm wrong, and it's weird because I have I got all sorts of shit. I got ADHD and short-term memory issues, but when I remember something, it means I really I enjoy what I'm reading, and there's so many parts of this book that I recall, and one that you just brought up, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said that was it Slick who had like a special ability to kind of predict the future a little bit?
Oh my God, man, it's so crazy, man. It's like this dude has been here before. Like he would say some things and then you wouldn't understand how it would come true. We were sitting on the stoop. That's what we call the stoop on 112th Street. We was sitting on the stoop. That's the steps. And then this dude came by on the four-wheeler. And Slick just said, "My man, go put that up because you're going to kill yourself on that." It wasn't 6:30. It was 6:30 that night. Somebody said that he had just went over to the dunes. They used to have salt dunes over by in Hunts Point, where when the wintertime come, the trucks would go get the salt from. He over on the salt dunes, went up on one of those things, came out and broke his neck, and he was dead. And I just looked at Slick like this. My man, don't you ever...
Don't tell you?
Don't you ever say anything about me. And we was on the same stoop.
What was the other part? So the kid passed away and
Right. It was this girl, beautiful, somewhat arrogant and everything like that. And then this dude was flying through the block on one of those fast cars. And Slick told her, "Ma, you just can't be jumping in the car with everybody because they got a nice car and they've lied. You got to watch out for yourself." And then that same day, she was on the Bruckner. Major crash, took all her beauty away. And I was like, yo. And it's just certain things that he would tell me to do. Like when I left the same gang and started Slicking the family. He said, "Yo, leave them alone, bro, because they gonna get you hurt." You understand? And it was a situation whereas that I could have gotten hurt, behind them.
Is that the period, correct me if I'm wrong, where there was an alleged hit out on you that you didn't know about?
Yeah, it was alleged. It was a hit out on me, but I didn't know about the hit, but it didn't have nothing to do with the same gang. You know what I'm saying? It had to do with one of my former parolees, you understand, who didn't know that Big Gene was parole officer Deal. You know what I'm saying? But it was two separate situations, you know what I'm saying? So he just told me, "Yo, listen to me, leave those guys alone, man, because they're gonna get you hurt." You understand? Because I was the basically muscle behind the crew and did the security to all the parties and everything like that. And some of those guys was out there being real wild. One guy, God bless the dead, Smiley, had smacked these guys from the Bronx and ended up getting murdered by somebody because of his actions. And he was a part of the same gang. And they were talking about murdering Mike Owens, actually, a.k.a. Mike Cox, and D. Ferg, ASAP Ferg. And I overheard them talk about it, and I intervened. Like, "Yo, man, listen to me. They ain't had nothing to do with that, blah, just talking like that." And, Slick stopped me. And he pulled me to the side. He said, these are, when he told me, yo, you have to keep your emotions to yourself, because these the kind of guys that I would have to go to war with. You understand? If they did something to you. Those might be your friends, but you're going to have to chill out when you hear stuff like that, man. And guys say stuff like that. I said, well, bro, I felt like I had to nip that in the bud because they ain't had nothing to do with it. He said, yo, Gene, it's certain people don't care nothing about your feelings and your emotions and how you feel about somebody. So he enlightened me on a lot of things that was in the streets that I didn't know, because I'm dealing out the love and the respect that I have for somebody. You understand? And the streets are totally different.
Where is Slick now, by the way?
He just got through fighting cancer, and God brought him through that.
Good.
All right, and he's got his health back, and he's my brother.
God bless. God,
he's still my brother.
When I hear you talk about him, it's very heartwarming for me, because it's how I talk about my brother, and God just gifts you some people,
right.
And I think sounds like he was a gift as a mentor, a friend, a brother.
Yeah, he said to me, I did a backyard party, because I do 2 parties a year at the house, and I make cook for all my friends, and they come through in the whole 9 yards. And he got up in front of everybody. He said, yo, y'all can say what y'all want to say. I know y'all enjoy the food, but this is my
brother.
The way we say it.
Oh, yeah. You're a good man, Gene. I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I like you keeping YouTube safe.
He has changed my life. And I broke down when he said that. He said, he has changed my life, who I am.
But he said this about you.
He said that about me to himself.
Oh, man, that's beautiful.
He has changed my life. And I used to hear, I know someone from Alpo, from Lou Sims. I've heard, I've seen Preacher, all these gangsters and all these mob guys that used to come through our block and everything, and they, yo, what up, Slick? What's happening, Slick? In the whole 9 yards. I've seen them pay homage to him, what up? I've heard people say, yo, you taught me the game, and I was like,
to Slick?
Yeah, to Slick.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Yo, this how much respect he had. You know what I'm saying? And for him to say that about me, I was like, yo, that was real. That was real. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful, man. That's really that. Can I ask as well? And I hope I get this right. And I could be wrong, but I could be right. And I don't want to go back to the big story too much, because I know it's an emotional topic, and you've done it many times. I think it came up organically when we started, right? Because you can't help walking up those stairs. We saw. Yeah. I didn't put that poster there. Right. But the night that the tragedy happened, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is what I recall. So you made several phone calls, and you couldn't get anyone to answer. Was it Slick with the first one you spoke with after it happened?
Slick was the first one I spoke to before it happened. Right. And Slick was the first male person I spoke to. I think it was between him or Shay. I can't recall. It was either one of them, but Slick was the first male person I spoke to after the tragedy of Big.
And can I ask, and I'm just going to make a prediction here, I'm going to assume that he predicted something when you spoke to him.
Yeah, he said...
Are you going to say this outright, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm just going to tell.
Shoot straight.
He said, I said, yo. He said, I said, yo, guess what happened? He said, yeah. He said something about they killed Big. And I was like, yeah, they killed Big. I said, yo, I'm like, is he sleeping next to Mama Matigo with a crystal ball or something like that? What do you mean? I said, yo. He said, get on back home, bro. He said, yeah. He said, I know Puff is all right. I said, how you know Puff is all right? He said, he was with you. but he predicted that had got big. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And there was no news in New York or nothing.
Did he say this to you before or after Big got shot?
After before Big got shot, he said to me, Puff told me that I didn't have to go to the thing. And I was like, I'm the only one with a gun that I know of. And other than Big Security, which was a cop, and Paul Offit, I know Paul didn't have no gun because Paul had one of mine. So I'm like, Puff told me I had to go. He said, well, don't go then. He tell you don't have to go, don't go. I said, I can't do that to those kids. I'm going to go. He said, all right, just be all right, man. Keep your head on the swivel. I said, all right, cool. So when I called him that morning before any news had hit New York, because I spoke to Shay, and Shay was crying on the phone. That's Miss Pleasant. She got a show called The Pop-Off Show. So,
Shout out.
So you know what I'm saying? I'm just
saying.
Yeah. She got the show, so it's like I'm speaking with her, and she crying and everything like that. So I knew nothing that came over the news yet. When I spoke to Slick, I said, yo, Slick, yo, man, it's crazy. Man. They got, he said, yeah, they killed Big, huh? I said, bro, how you know that? He was like, Puff all right, right? He said, yeah. I said, yeah, he all right. He said, come on back home then. So I'm wondering how he knew. And he just said he knew because I was all right.
Wow.
Because he said he knew I was going to make sure Puff was all right.
Yeah, man, he's got a gift, man. He's got a gift.
A lot of stuff, for
Jeez.
real.
Oh yeah, I reckon we could just do 5 hours talking about you and Slick.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man. But look, what a blessing from God. He sounds like a really, really good man.
Yeah.
And he's definitely got the gift.
Funny.
Yeah, I
Oh
can
my
tell that in the
God.
book as well.
Yo, he's funny.
What's
Yo,
the
he
funniest?
had that.
What's your funniest memory of you and Slick?
We had so many memories. LL Cool J had came up into the club and he wanted to just walk through the line. He said, "Yo, LL, hold up for I rock your bell."
How did he respond to that?
He better not respond.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he better not.
You to walk away?
Yeah, you walk away. And then it's a couple other things. Like he would say something like, just say, this guy is mad. Everybody know this guy is ugly. You know what I'm saying?
What kind of ugly?
I mean, like, only a mother can love.
Were you talking about the Elephant Man? Or
somewhere in that, but got that kind of face that only a mother can love. A dude to walk up in the place with us, and just say the guy walk up and it's like 9 or 10 is around. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing to come out of Slick mouth would be like, "Yo, what's up, handsome?"
That's the best. Did you?
Yo, everybody know dude is ugly.
How do you not laugh?
Dude even know he's ugly. And the first thing will come out, you'll be like, "Hey, what's up, handsome?"
How do you not laugh when he says something like that?
Yeah, we all die laughing. Yo, dude, go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Forget you, man.
No, I would have spat my water laughing. There was one other thing I was going to follow on. This is I was going to schedule this, but I think this is my next follow on. Okay, so that night happens, and you talk to Slick, and he calls it because he just knows, because he can just read whatever gift he's got. He just calls it, and you get your goosebumps, and you here's what I remember: the dust settles, and you had to go pack stuff up in the room. And that was the first time that you were by yourself, I believe.
Right.
I can't imagine how hard that would have been, because I think it's difficult to be by yourself when things are moderately hard. I mean, I can't imagine how it would have been after a tragedy like that. But I remember you said you tried to call several people, and none of them answered the phone. And I know in your book you have a lot of respect for your mum. Big green flag as a human. And you said that your mum's prayers helped you get through a lot. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you said after Big lost his life and the dust had settled, you're in the room, you're packing up by yourself, you make 3 calls, nobody answers, but then you called your mum. Is that right?
I called my mother.
And your mum, would you like to talk me through how that went? Because I believe that you said her prayers calmed you down, and then it all just hit you.
My mom had this way of putting everything on the Bible. And she knew that all hotels had Bibles in there. You know what I mean? And Psalms 91 was her favorite. You know, she would say, you say the Lord's Prayer first, because the Lord's prayers open up the heavens for God to hear you. Then you read Psalms 91. Who shall ever dwell in the house of the Lord, you know, and how God will protect you and have his angels be the dominion over you, you know, whether their feathers will cover you, you know what I'm saying, from the serpents and all like that. So that's what that poem is about, you know, being covered with the protection of God. And she would always tell me through all my troubles and anything that happened, little boy. Now, my mother, she's about 5'11", 6 foot, you know, stuff like that. But everybody was little boy to her.
Yeah.
Go say the Lord's Prayer and open up, and then see Psalms 91, and then let God know what you want him to do for you and everything like that. So she would always do something like that, and then she'll talk to you later or whatever like that.
Oh, man. That must have been an emotional moment as well, because, you know.
Well, it was emotional because when I pulled Big out the car, I knew he was dead. So that was an emotional time, you know. I didn't have to hear it from the doctors. I didn't have to wait for the guy to put him on the gurney or anything like that. I knew that he had already surpassed, you know, he had already passed us. And it was difficult even just pulling him out the car, not because of just his weight, just because here it is, a few hours ago, I had just looked this man in the eye and said, if we go to this party, some of us gonna die. They're gonna kill one of us or some of us. And he had to play it off as if he really wanted to be there.
So you think deep down there was a part of him that was hesitant to go that night?
I think that Big was very loyal to certain people. And when you have a friend that took a gun case for you and went to jail, and he asking you to come to this party, you may think that you owe him something in going to this party. Because Big was going to be gone for London for a week or two after that. And all these people depended on Big and what the money that he made and the things that the opportunities that he put out for them. So by him doing something for them, it was like him paying back the favor for his friend taking a case for him.
Isn't it something to think about when you frame it in terms of, like, he went there with good intentions despite knowing the risks, and then what happened, you know?
They say the road to hell was led with good intentions.
You took the words out of my mouth, brother. I was about to say the same thing. Okay. All right. We're going to move on to a few more positive things, and this is usually the best podcasts, the ones where we just bounce around, we flow, we vibe, and it's good fun. All right. So you got 3 beautiful daughters, and one thing that I picked up on in all these books, you have complete respect for your daughters, for your mama, for all the women in your life. And I also noticed that, and we talked about this before the podcast, But there's all these allegations of people doing this, that, whatever to women. And, you know, people can say, where were you when this happened, right? Correct me if I'm wrong on this assumption, but from what I've read and in my research and just how I've come to know you through your books, is it fair to say that, like, some of the people who you were looking after, we know who they are, like, we don't need to say the names, but some of these mega celebrities who have got these horrible allegations in terms of what they've done to women, but none of them did it in front of you. Is that correct?
Bro, people who commit crimes around people who commit crimes. You understand? I would check anything that happened around me. And people who know my character, know me as a man, as a person, know I don't bite my tongue for nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what status you got. I'm not doing that. You're not gonna go back and say I got this off on Gene Deal's watch. It won't happen. Point blank. So when people say those stories, have you noticed all the allegations from the time we started? Not one, and I've been known and I've been seen on every show, every podcast. People tell me that you can't turn on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, or nothing without seeing Gene Deal face. Not one individual ever came out and said, Gene Deal was right there when it happened. Now, have things been said? Even when things were said, I checked it. When the individuals say, yo, I'ma drug all of them and pimp them out to my dudes, I said, them somebody daughters. What the F is you talking about? Oh, get on out of here, old broke cop. I told the whole story about that when you said the broke cop and the green teeth and stuff like that. That was part of my book. I'm going to check that. It ain't because I have daughters. It ain't because I respect my mother, the kids like that. It's the right thing to do. When somebody does something wrong and stop that, you got to nip it in the bud. You got to be man enough to say that's wrong. And if you're not, you are part of the problem. You have to understand that I knew the law. If somebody is, what they call it, we have to be politically correct when they're,
Do you want some help?
well, I don't want to say rape.
Grape. Yeah.
When somebody is, we're not going to say the word. We're just going to put the G on top of it, and we're going to call it, when somebody is raping somebody, if you watching it, you're a part of that problem. If you don't do anything, you have assisted in that graping. When I tell guys that, they was like, no, what are you talking about? Yeah. You either got to call the police or you got to stop it. Because if she said that you was there and you watched it, you're just as guilty as the person who's doing it. You're just as guilty. I've never been that type of dude, bro. I've never been that type of dude. I only been to one party that I knew that they were drugging somebody. It was a New Year's Eve party done at Madam C.J. Walker's house. I took my girl and her girlfriend. It was a New Year's Eve party. As soon as I get everybody in the party, I can go party with them and have fun. You understand? I can go party and have fun. This is the only time, and this is when I found out that something like that, and it came back to me. Because you understand, feelings don't change facts. Facts change feelings. So my girl and them is at the party. They're inside. This is Madam C.J. Walker's mansion. I'm getting everybody in. The cars are coming in. So now everybody in the list is off. The main gate get closed. They partying. You understand? I'm going to looking for my girl. She's nowhere to be found. I'm going through bathrooms, knocking on doors, pushing doors in, telling people, bamming on doors. I'm looking for my girl and everything like that. She nowhere to be found. I come back outside. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I go to my car. Her and her girlfriend is in the car asleep. Knocked out. I was like, yo, niece, what's wrong? What happened? She said, Gene, we started drinking stuff, and next you know, we got dizzy, and I grabbed Debbie, and we went to the car. I said, that's my girl.
Bro.
And that's the only time. That's the only time. And that was like it was Eric Von Zip and him had gave this party at Madam C, this New Year Eve party at Madam C.J. Walker's house. You know what I'm saying? And I was doing security at the front door.
How's she doing now?
But everybody was, you know, like dressed like for New Year's Eve party. You know what I'm saying?
Do you still keep in touch with this girl?
It's my kid's mother.
Oh, wait. Oh, this is your girl. Oh, brother. My God. Sorry. I didn't know that we're going that far back.
Her and her friend Debbie.
How many years now together?
We're together.
Yeah.
We good.
No,
we
like
we good.
Okay.
We good.
Long time.
We good.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
You're a good person, Gene.
Yeah.
You're a very fucking good person.
And I got in the car and I left.
With your girl.
I left with her. We left.
Jesus. Well, I mean, after that story, I don't think anyone can say anything about that topic.
Well, but I'm just saying. Listen, the thing about it is that if you see something, you say something. People want to articulate a story the way they feel and what they do inside. Oh, he had to. Or he did this and he did that. No. That's your story. That's not my story. Sean Puffy Combs knew that he wasn't going to play with. He didn't do anything like that with me because he knew that the teams that I had behind me, Slick and the Family, Same Gang, and Black Hands, kept him safe in New York City. And if Gene is there, he gonna be all right. They would be at parties, and he would be feeling a certain way, I guess. And it wasn't my day to work. People don't understand, Puff had like 6, 7 other security personnel. You understand what I'm saying? He had 6 other security personnel that would do 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours, something like that. I had Puff on the weekends. But if Puff getting mad and the security people are drinking or not paying attention, because he'll try you. He'll move. Puff is the type of individual like he'll try to run off or sneak off and see if you're watching him. But he knew I always kept my eye on him. It wasn't important to nobody else. I kept my eye on the room and him. He knew I could tell him when he had got into about to get into that situation with Will Smith and I could tell he was feeling uncomfortable. I went over close to him and he came up to me and said, yo, Gene. He told me, he said, yo, I think Will and Jada trying to sneak off or try to take Jennifer off. Stay close.
Take her off in terms of?
Trying to, sneak, like, what they call it? Swing with her.
Yeah,
doing the swinging thing.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, man, cool.
Is that really what happened?
I swear for living Jesus. We were in the 4 Seasons. I think it was either Ben Affleck or what's the dude name? His best friend?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. It was one of their birthday party. They were celebrating their birthday party. He should have been watching out for Ben because Ben must have slid out a number or something. He worrying about Jennifer.
Oh, she's looking at the wrong person.
Yeah, he working about Jada and Will. You know, Ben must have slid out a number or something like that. So we up in there, and his sister and her husband And I'm like this. I said, yeah, all right, man, cool. I'm right here. He said, because I'm a snuff wheel. I was going to let him fight for a little bit, though.
Yeah, I think we know who would win that one.
Yeah.
I mean...
But Puff ain't no pushover
No,
now.
I know. That's what I've heard you say.
Puff ain't no pushover. No, Puff was going to give him some.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I put my money on Will.
You reckon?
I probably would put my money on Will.
Will now or Will then? Because he got some training behind him now.
Yeah, but Will then too.
Fucking, he'd take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Will then too. You know what I'm saying?
All right, he's gonna love it if he sees this.
Yeah. But I'd put my money on Will, but I would have let him. I would have see what they was about because I was the only security there.
Let it roll for a bit.
Yeah, I got you.
You gotta watch a little bit,
man. You gotta let a few of them go in there.
Like, I feel like what's happening here a little bit first. Oh man, that's the best.
You got to, man.
God, all right.
Just to see it.
Have you ever seen some? Have you seen any like where I'm from? We call them scraps. You know, you scrap.
Yeah, I've seen Puff. Take a couple people down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can scrap.
Yeah.
What were some good ones?
I think they misunderstood him because Puff used to be a football player too, so he had a little wrestling in him.
Yeah.
I seen take a couple of guys down. I used to laugh too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see him get on the wrong end and lose one?
Oh, Wolf used to tear his ass up.
I was just about to say, yeah, that's the one that I read. So Wolf was a proper G, right?
Huh?
Right? Wolf was an old G, like a proper.
Yeah, Wolf was good with it.
Yeah.
Yo, Wolf used to tell. I used to laugh though.
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah.
So what, would Wolf just throw him one or?
Yeah. Or Puff would try to grab or get out of him, and Wolf will hold him and everything like that.
So he's that big.
Yeah. He was beefy.
Wow.
Y'all about the same size. He probably a little thicker than you though.
Yeah. Who? Wolf?
Yeah, Wolf.
Do you mind if I ask? Is he now?
He's deceased. He was killed by a member of BMF that he actually. He is a guy who was looking for work. He put him down with the crew BMF, and the dude ended up coming back killing Wolf when he got into a scrap with BMF.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's another segue, because one of the notes that I wrote that I wanted to get your opinion on was, obviously you've seen what happened with Lil Durk.
I don't know too much about that. I don't keep up with the media like that.
So, well, just for context, he's part of the obviously younger generation.
Right.
He was arrested a couple of days ago, literally I think 2 days ago, for conspiracy to hire for murder.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of the younger generation, who are like, you know, maybe 10, 20 years past the generation that you came from, you know, these guys are taking it to another level. Like, they'll kill someone and then be fucking rapping on the grave and porn. It's like, it's insane. So, like, if you were to kind of zoom out, right? Because you're like one of the elders now, you got the knowledge and you've seen the good and the bad and the ugly. You know, we're talking about people with life-changing money, generational wealth, who are still out there, like, doing this stuff, you know what I mean? Getting involved with things where, like, you could lose your life, you could lose your freedom. You're normally speaking, when you get out, like, you should want to stay out, right? So what's your advice to, like, these younger rappers who kind of, like, they've already got enough money, they're doing well, they don't need to be involved with, like, street crime or murder? You know, what's your advice to people who are still getting caught up in it and haven't really learned the lessons from the past? Because you've seen how bad it can get. Stuff doesn't need to happen. Mm-hmm. You're making money. What's your advice to that generation?
Well, first of all, they don't have generational wealth.
Well, the way they spend it, yeah.
They only have enough money to do and show people that they have some money. You get it? You know what I'm saying? Once they have generational wealth, that means they're able to help build schools. They're able to help make jobs and have factories and can pay for people getting education. That's generational wealth. You understand? They don't have that. Once they start putting their money in stuff like that, then that's when they snatch it away from them. The people snatch it away from them because they only want you to show the people that's in the people that who we are, that you could buy the cars, you could buy the jewelry, you could go to certain trips and stuff like that. Once you start putting that money into your people, once you start putting your money into the family and into the community, they snatch it away from you. These individuals who are out here that are kids that think that Big Brother ain't watching, they out they rabbit ass mind. Let me just tell you a story, God honest truth. I was in a situation when a guy said I put the gun to his head and beat him. You hear me? My lawyer said, Gene, they got this satellite system that for $815 per frame, if you know exactly the time and the place where you was at when they said the person did that, you could get this satellite thing from NASA and get it into record. I was like, for real? I think it cost us like $15,000. He had the whole thing put into record. Whereas that the dude said that what I did, it didn't happen. They are watching us every bit and everywhere we go. It's 195 countries, or maybe we'll say nations. 195. They got over 2,000 and something satellites up there in orbit. Why? They watch and hear everything. It's how bad they want you. So these kids out here thinking they getting away with, setting up somebody for murder. Or they're going to start shooting somebody up and they're going to get away. It's not happening this day of time. Big Brother's been watching for a long time. And when he decide to come and get you, it don't matter how much money you got. Diddy is the proof that's in the pudding.
Anyone who listens to that and still wants to go do some shit, like, you know what I mean?
But bro, it's the truth.
It is.
They are watching.
Yeah.
It's how bad they want you.
Yeah, it's almost like you can get done. Imagine getting done jaywalking by a satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they want you that bad,
Yeah.
you know? All right. That was really good advice. And you're not wrong. They watch everything. And I think that's why they got, 98% conviction rate?
Oh, that's the Southern District?
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No. They not playing, bro.
So that's who's got Diddy right now, Southern District.
The Southern District of New York.
So he's got 0% odds.
Huh?
He's got 0%
Not at all.
odds. Yeah.
He don't have no ain't nobody putting up no bets that he get off.
Yeah. So, all right. So, where, like, we're bouncing around some good topics. It's a good flow. I like it. I think that's some really good advice. We touched on the fact that, you fuck around in this day and age, you're going to get caught. It's pretty inevitable. And if you get caught on the wrong end or the wrong side of the system, then you're even more fucked because you're facing a 98% conviction rate. So you're double fucked.
Correct.
So Diddy right now, or what do they call him? Brother Love? Whatever. Brother Love.
Diddy,
I love when you say that. I don't know why it's funny to me, but because there's always a tone of like Brother Love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just to kind of touch on that, generally speaking, I know that you've been asked this 100 times, but like zoom out higher level. If you were to say channel some of Slick's energy of premonition, where do you think this is going to play out, and how do you think it's going to end?
I don't see it ending nowhere good for him, because the laws, it don't have anything to do with the laws of physics or the laws of the justice system. This is more like universal law, that you can't continually do people bad and do things to people and take and don't give in the right direction. See, the only good thing for him about it is that he's still alive, and God has given him an opportunity to straighten out his life here on earth. Because hell, you sure in the world can't do it in hell. He has the opportunity to straighten his life here on earth, even though it's behind bars. You could have 10, 15 years from now, or 10 years from now, it'd be another president or whatever like that. He can get pardoned. People could work towards that the whole 9 yards. He has an opportunity to change his life. But you got to understand that people like Notorious B.I.G don't have that opportunity. People that he took from and took their publishing and took their royalties, Craig Mack, Black Rob, don't have an opportunity. People that he helped promote wars against, Tupac, don't have an opportunity. I'm not saying none of that shit is his fault, but you had a chance that you could have took it in a whole nother direction, and you didn't. So as far as what we see, a millionaire, billionaire being locked behind bars and everything taken from him, what it was once said, what is your soul worth? Is it worth a ton of gold? You can't pay your way into heaven. He has the opportunity to straighten out the hell he gave on earth.
Wow, that's very profound. Straighten out the hell he put on earth. Bro, I've not heard anyone define it like that, but I think the way you just said it, the way everything's just stacking up, and we're talking about stacking up over 20 years, you know? Like, forget about what's happening now. Like, look at all the other stuff. I mean,
they could have they could have been came and got him. But you have to listen to what some of these people are saying around him. 50 Cent said he started making them feel uncomfortable. When he said that, I was like, He heard that from somebody. I'm not saying he's not smart enough to make it up himself, but he said he started making them feel uncomfortable. Who is them? Those are people that he was working for.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
You got to realize you get young, black people of our culture that can go sell liquor, sell clothes, do real estate, sell music to a generation of different multicultural people. He can't do that unless he has an engine behind him. How Puff get in the liquor business? How Puff get in the clothing business? Shit, how Puff get in the music business?
I was literally just about to touch on that with you. Do you know who I'm going to say? Whose name am I going to say?
You might say Clyde Davis.
That's exactly who I would say.
But that's not true.
Really?
No. He helped him. He helped him.
Do you think he helped him in the way that the allegations are told?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't think so.
That's contrary to the the popular view at the moment.
I know.
Yeah.
That's contrary.
What do you think about that man?
I know some people that work for him, and they used to tell me stuff. And
Come on. Keep going.
No. I wouldn't hold nothing back, but they were just. I don't know if you would understand it. I wouldn't know if your audience would understand this. But they say Clyde Davis used to walk around with Vaseline on his shoulder.
Hang on. What? Easy, you talking just easy access? Is that what you're saying? Is that so he's got easy access to his Vaseline?
Hey, I told him he wouldn't understand.
All right, come on, man. You're going to have to educate me now.
Yeah, listen here, man. It ain't. I don't fly that flag.
Okay, all right. So he was playing for another team. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Basically.
Okay.
And the guy said, yo, man, I had to get out of his office because he used to work for him. He said he was the vice president of A&R. He said, yo, Clyde Davis used to walk around with Vaseline on his shoulder. I was like, whoa.
Jesus Christ. Don't these guys have anything better to do?
Listen here, man.
Imagine just making that your life. Yeah. Oh, I'm bored fucking. Okay.
Hey,
yeah, go.
So, I just think there were other people that came in his life after that. You know what I mean?
So I heard you say something once. I believe it was you. I'm 99% sure.
I'll tell you if it was.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. Puff, to an extent, did to other people what was done to him.
Basically, yeah. I said that.
Would you like to expand on that?
No, just the thing that he had to do dealing with Andre Harrell, dealing with Russell Simmons, or just dealing with people that when he was coming up in the business that may have did some of the things that he's doing to people. You could see that the pain and the stuff and the way he treated people, that he was treated like that before. You know, the way he talked to people, the way he did something, and then his own mentors, when he got big enough and saw surpassing them, how he went back and started treating them and how he talked to them. Yo, he used to talk to Andre Harrell like a dog. You know what I mean? And this is the guy who was supposed to gave him his start. So he was just treating people as he was treated once before.
Because you can really extrapolate that, meaning like you can go from behavioral, meaning just being a bully to people, but then you can talk about like the other,
Well, I'm sure it was some of that other stuff too. Not only the bully and all that stuff like that. If he had to do certain sexual favors, to get in the position that he was in, I'm sure he asked for sexual favors. There are even guys that came out and said that he told them that he had to produce, if they want to be a producer on this album or if they want to do their music on this album, that he had to do certain sexual favors for them. I don't know how true that is, but there's guys out here that said that. It's out now. It's coming out now. So we can't feel strange about that.
We can't?
Well, we can feel strange about it, but
I think you and me can.
We can't act like nobody never said it or it hasn't been said.
I get what you mean.
It's been said.
Yeah.
It's been said.
Mm.
So why would he ask those favors and stuff like that if he didn't have to do them? Why would he come at he has to be a really sexual deviant to be like that.
You compare that to like, have you had dealings with 50 as well? I
had dealings with 50.
So yeah, in my opinion, one of the best businessmen of all time. I've read his book, the same as yours, the way his mind works when he talks about like putting together deals and adding value and like just, I think it's understated how intelligent he is as a business person. And I've heard people say that like when he says something about someone, you better like either look into that person or steer clear of that person. And he was out there saying it from day one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what, 2 decades?
Yeah, probably as long as I have.
Yeah. Do you guys ever have a conversation about this?
We've had conversations, and we've had conversations about Puff, but, they so rare and few. I talked to 50 when he was with when I was with bodyguard Scott Storch. I used to bodyguard Scott Storch around when he did Candy. I was actually in the studio when 50 did Candy Shop, and he did another song with Scott Storch. I was in the studio with him when he did that. So me and 50 had a long conversation then, and I understood why he had somewhat shunned me, you know what I mean, because I was still dealing with the Black Hands people, you know, and they was the one that turned their back on 50. I never turned my back on 50 at all, you know. I even warned him what was to come, you know what I'm saying? He came to my house. He was trying to have some extra bulletproof vests, but I'm 3X, 4X, 50 about extra large, you know what I'm saying? So the bullet would have probably somehow got through there, hit it with his side because it was so big. So, you know, he didn't take it. He took a cover. Had a smaller cover. He took that. But I even warned him of the conversations that was going down about him and what was going to go down. And we were supposed to be out in Cancun together. You know, I think I put that in that book too, the book about the Cancun situation. And I had him covered if he came to Cancun, but I'm glad he didn't come to Cancun. But by him not coming to Cancun, he got shot that day he was supposed to be in Cancun. I was calling him because I was wondering what happened. And then his manager told me that he had been shot when I was walking through the hotel, and I mentioned that part in the book also.
That was the second time.
The first time he was shot.
Right.
Yeah.
He warned him before that.
Yeah.
Like you had intel before that.
Yeah.
This is from because I know that you were very good at counterintelligence as a part of your job, and I know you would go to the streets, you go to the police, you go to the prisons. Like, how do I say this? Is there an extent to which you can kind of go a bit deeper into like what type of intel came through and like how you communicated that to him?
No, we were all supposed to meet up at Black Hands that day. 50 had to go to Columbia Records, but he didn't tell Chaz that he had to go to Columbia Records. We had already scheduled a meeting. I was doing some work and got caught up in the office. So I'm on my way to Black Hands Entertainment, and Chaz is calling me because they out front because 50 didn't show up yet. So then I called 50. 50 pick up the phone. I said, yo, 50, where you at? He said, yo, I'm finna go to Columbia Records. And I was like, yo, Chaz and them need you out in front of the thing. Blase this, you know, what's going on? And 50 was like, tell them to reschedule it because they want me at Columbia Records. I said, so why you don't pick up the phone for Chaz? You picking up the phone for me? He said, Gene, just tell them to reschedule it. So I get over there, me and Chaz talk, and those guys he was meeting with, I'm just gonna say those guys that he was meeting with, they was more concerned of Chaz not getting involved if anything happened to 50, because at that time Chaz just turned his back on 50 to the point whereas that he felt that he was being disrespected by not showing up to the meeting that he had set up. And this was after him and an individual had a fight in Atlanta.
Right. Okay. So that's some strong intel.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So then I met Chaz that night on 44th Street again. And Chaz was telling me that I have to leave 50 alone. And I'm like, man, how you gonna tell me what I gotta leave somebody alone? You know, we had a big blowout. You know, Chaz is like my brother, you know, my uncle like that, you know what I'm saying, my big uncle, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, how you gonna tell me that who I'm gonna leave alone? He said, I made the introduction. That's all I'm telling you. If anything go down, you're responsible for. I said, I'm responsible for my own action anyway. I'm my own man. You know, we had that kind of conversation. So 50 had called me on the phone, and that's the night he met me at my house. And I couldn't find a vest inside.
Oh right. So after you got the intel, he came around to pick up a vest.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Well, he's a big boy.
Yeah. But he was, you know, you got to realize, you know, back then 50 was an extra large but he's solid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm 3X. You know what I'm saying? 4X. But 3X, about 3X at that time. Totally big size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a story, man.
Yeah.
You told that one? Oh, that was in the book, wasn't
It's
it?
in the book. They don't ask me about 50.
What's
they
that?
don't ask me about 50. They don't ask me about Fat Joe. They don't ask me about
My
nothing.
podcast is
All
better
this
than
stuff.
all these people, man.
Yeah,
All you
I
do
can
is sit
agree
there
with
like, oh, diddy. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck off. Ask something real.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think people just want conversations that are real. You know what I mean?
I think that, you know, your podcast might reach a lot of different people that want to know the stories and everything. But when I go to most podcasts, they just want to know the stuff that's going to be clickbaits.
Nah, man. Listen, where we've done well is because I'm in like we sell these gummies through social media, and we did like $250,000 in like a couple of months, pretty quick, like really fast.
Right.
But we just give them to people who enjoy them, and they just talk about it, and they're authentic, and that's how they sell. And that's what the podcast does well, and it's what I said at the start. Like, I won't talk to someone if I don't genuinely vibe with them. And like, I'm not out to try and get clicks. I'm just out to like tell stories. So when I talk to you or me about this, remember the first thing I said to you, I'm like, listen, man, I'm not just going to sit there and ask about Puff Daddy all day. I just want to capture some of this story and this legacy, you know?
Right.
100 years from now, man, I want someone to come and watch this.
Right.
And say, listen, these are his stories. It's like bringing someone back to life.
And you definitely want somebody to want it.
Yeah. So I didn't even realize I was unintentionally saying my brand. Hey, listen, shout out to 50 as well. I want to bring you boys in on this. Let's make you guys a couple million.
Yeah.
All right. I got some more cool questions. You're going to like my next one. All right. Actually, I don't even need to check my notes. I remember. Your beautiful aunt.
Yeah.
May God rest her in peace.
She died the same day Clark Kent died.
And this was recent.
Right. This last, I think it was Friday or Saturday. Friday.
I'm sorry for your loss. But I do recall we're on the phone and you had a big smile on your face because you said, hey, man, listen, I got a story about her.
Yeah.
And you were recounting. Well, why don't I just let you tell the story?
Well,
if you're comfortable.
No, I have no problem with my Aunt Mandy Brown. Mandy, it was, like beautiful. Like caramel skin, long brown hair past her shoulders. Like her and my mother was showstoppers back in the day. I seen some of the pictures and I understood why the men loved them so much. They were beautiful, indigenous black women. You know what I'm saying? Both of them, are indigenous because you could tell that their parents, are that Arkansas bred Indian, family, So Mandy was working one day and she was married to June Brown. Mandy came in and, Mandy was at work and she was getting calls because her son got sick at school. So she got a call at her job because whoever June was home, he didn't answer the phone. So back then they would call a parent's job. She had to go pick him up from school early. So when she goes to school and pick Tony up, her son, he brings her back home. Her husband is in the bed with another woman, right? So, you see, Mandy is not to be played with in no kind of way. The lady runs out the back door, right? And June and her gets to fighting. He picks up one of those ashtrays, and back in the day, they used to have those big glass ashtrays,
like a
probably
ton.
big as this I Want a box. You know
Stacked with weight.
Yeah, stacked with weight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You kill someone with one of them.
Oh, so you do your morning exercise, both arms.
It's better than a baseball bat.
Get your pecs up. You know what I mean?
Just bench press a
Yeah,
couple of
all that.
ashtrays.
Yeah. So she had the he swings it and hits her son in the head.
So your cousin.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
cousin,
yeah.
Tony, hits him in the head. Mandy goes to her purse, pulls out a gun, and shoots him in the stomach. he runs out the same back door that the lady ran out and jumped over the fence. So she calls the police. The police came. She told the police that she shot her husband, told her what happened. Her son is bleeding and everything like that. Told him that he tried to, beat her with the ashtray or whatever like that. She didn't say nothing to the cops like that. This is the cop's story in their report. You understand? Because June said he threw the ashtray at her and it hit Tony, but the police said he grabbed the ashtray and was trying to beat her with the ashtray, end up hitting the son and everything like that. So, long story short, she goes to court. She stayed in jail a day or two. She goes to court, and the judge asks her, Ms. Brown, we got the police report from the district attorney and everything like that, and it said that you shot your husband in self-defense. And she said, no, Your Honor. And he said, excuse me? He said, I'm reading the report, and it said you shot your husband in self-defense. She said, I don't think that's what happened, Your Honor. So the judge said, he looking at the DA, and this is told to me by my uncle and them and everything, my mother and them who was in court. She said, she's looking at the DA and looking at the judge. He said, so you explain to Ms. Brown what happened. She said, I shot his ass and he jumped over the fence.
Have you ever heard the saying, shot yourself in the foot?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what she did in this situation? Where was the lawyers? Where the fuck were the lawyers?
Yeah, but back then.
Yeah,
man.
How did she?
She said, my uncle was on the floor laughing so hard when they was telling the story. I was dying. They was laughing so hard when she said, yo, I shot his ass and he jumped over the fence.
So, did she beat the case?
Yeah, she beat the case. She got off.
How did she get off again?
She get no time. She get no time.
Okay.
Because back then, as a husband and mother, they allowed you not to press charges.
That's what I was about to say.
That. So in our press charges.
Yeah, okay. We don't have that where I'm from. They could just force the victim to press charges, sadly. Yeah. But well, that worked out for the best. Yeah, she kind of shot herself in the foot, but still beat the case.
Yeah.
Oh man, God bless her. That's a beautiful story. Yeah. I how do I say this? Have you ever heard the saying where they say a person dies twice? Once when their heart stops, and the second time, the last time their name is spoken.
Right.
Have you heard that saying before?
I've heard that.
I feel like, what you're doing now, and part of what we're capturing, in ways that you might not understand for years to come, but I feel like we're expanding not just your life story, but the life story of your loved ones, Right. Because now we've got this that's going to be around for 100 years,
Well, see, the beauty about putting things in writing, and if social media or these books be around another 100 years, the beauty thing about it is that it gives life to now. It still gives life. You still immortalize the people that you love. You immortalize the places that you've been, the things that you saw. Somebody can go back and enjoy some of the things that happened to you. It's just surprising that you being a different race, being a different culture, being someone that's far from Wellston, Missouri, and never ever probably will get to Wellston, Missouri. You experience Wellston, Missouri in that book. You experience Gene Deal in that book, and some of the things and the places he's been, and the things that he saw. That's the beauty about us as human, me being able to enjoy other people's readings and writings and what they've been through.
Yeah, it's almost like, because that is how we learn from history. This is almost like our modern version of preserving history,
Right.
And it's kind of a fun way to consume stories, right? So right. One of the, I said I'd do this for my, I'll tell you why I'm going to ask you this question. We're talking about streets and we're talking about Wolf, and have you ever heard the story of Mike Tyson and was it Mitch Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, and their street fight?
I know about
the
that.
eye socket?
Yeah.
Have you had some dealings with Mike, Big Mike?
I had dealing with Mike a couple of times.
So I tell you why I'm asking this story, and you're gonna laugh when I tell you. I don't talk about my family much on the podcast, but I'm gonna do it justice once. It's the only time I've done it. So I got a little boy, and his favorite thing is watching all the old Mike Tyson fights. And he's only 4. He's a beautiful little boy. One night he couldn't sleep, and he goes, Daddy, I can't sleep. I said, what do you want me to do? He goes, there's monsters outside. There's no monsters. I said, tell me what you want me to do to make you feel safe. And he goes, Mike Tyson. I said, what? He goes, get Mike Tyson. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? He's in America. He goes, Daddy, just go get him. I'm like, all right, Mike, yeah, he's scared. Can you look up? Mike Tyson says we'll look after the monsters. So before I left, I said, I got to go to America. He goes, is America a long walk? It's like,
Oh my God.
I was like, little bro, you got to fly there. Like, you can't fucking walk there. Anyway, I said, listen, Daddy's going to talk to one of Mike's friends. I'll ask him for a good story. So I'm going to do this for my little one. What's the best story that you've got from you dealing with Big Mike?
I don't think the audience is gonna want to know the best story because it's a little provocative.
Oh, come on, man. I mean, to the extent that you're comfortable, that he would be comfortable.
Well,
That you're both comfortable. I can see your mind thinking.
I got 3 stories about Mike Tyson. All right. The first time I met Mike Tyson was at Bentley's. That was a club in New York City. And I'm with my friend named April. Now, April is could be like 4 or 5 years older than me. Drop dead, gorgeous, beautiful woman. Voluptuous, like any man would want to be with her. So then we just sitting at the bar, and I'm like her little brother. You know, when you're around beautiful women, and this is when I first got to the city, about 86, about 87,
Back
88,
in the New York days, those would have been the days.
So then Bentley used to be a club that everybody was trying to get in and stuff like that, but because she was beautiful and I was with her, I got in. So then I'm at the bar with April, and then this dude come over to me, and he like, yo, my man Mike wanna talk to you. You with her? I said, no, that's like my big sister. That's my friend. Just like that. He said, yo, Mike wanna talk to her. And I was like, yo, Mike who? He told me, Mike. And I said, man, get out of here, man. So then me and April started talking. She said, what happened? I said, yo, this dude talk about Mike want to talk to you. And I said, because I'm looking at April this way. So then I said, dude talking about Mike want to talk to you. Mike who? Or something like that. So next thing you know, somebody come over to me, somebody sitting next to me, and I feel this hard nudge. And I was like, yo. Oh, my. What up, champ? Yo, April, Mike, April.
Prime Mike Tyson.
Prime
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson.
Must have been like a tiger coming up behind you.
Yo. So then I asked April what was the conversation. And I said, she said, I just told him straight out. I said, you told him what straight out? She said, Mike, you're not a regular guy. All you want to do is have sex with me. If you want to have sex with me, Mike, and it's that important to you, here go my address. I want a brand new Camry with a red bow tie in front of my house.
I'm sorry. Jesus Christ.
She had a brand new Camry with a bow tie in front of her house.
Bullshit.
No shit.
Does she know you're going to tell this story?
No, I done talked to April for years now. So now,
man, that's the best.
I was doing bodyguard work for a lady. She was calling herself the Harlem Madam. She used to be up in a place called Golden Lady. So then she used to have girls that would go to parties and everything like that. This guy named KG for Naughty by Nature, he was their DJ. He was giving a party. I even took girls to his brother's coming home party when he was coming home from college.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about when I'm
yeah.
saying he's coming home from college.
Yeah.
So I took a few girls over there. You with him, you know what I'm saying? So now, she called me one night and she said, yo, Gene, Mike Tyson want a couple of girls. You understand? You got to drive down there driving down to 57th Street. So I said, oh, cool. So, like, I had this, I don't know if it was a poster, picture of some of Mike Tyson in the backseat of the car or whatever like that. And I wanted to tell the girl to sign it and everything like that. Or could she get some gloves or something from her? Because it was 2 girls.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to mix the business with pleasure and all that stuff.
It's hard
like
sometimes,
that.
hey?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But this is Mike Tyson in his prime.
Yeah.
I don't think Mike had even lost a fight then.
No, he was, what was he, like 30, 40 and 0 or something?
I don't know what it was, but I don't think he even lost a fight. So I took the 2 girls down there, so then they went upstairs. And about 15 minutes later, one of the girls came back down. I don't know if it was even 15 minutes. I was like, yo, what's wrong? What happened? You understand? She said, Mike gave, I gave him his money back and he gave me $1,000. I was like, what happened? She said, Gene, what he was doing to her and how he was doing her, I wasn't going to let him do that to me. He was tearing her up. I was like, yo, wow.
You'd have to be brave.
Yeah, I said, wow. And I bodyguard Mike Tyson with Zip once before we went going down to this club. We all had to go down there. It was a whole slick in the family. We was with Zip and Mike Tyson. And the last time I seen Mike Tyson, we was with Zip at Zip House. He was flying pigeons on the roof.
Because he loves his pigeons.
Right.
Yeah.
So he had a pigeon coop up there. He was flying pigeons. And he was supposed to fight Lennox Lewis within 2 weeks.
The first or the second one?
The first one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. He was finna fight Lennox Lewis the first time. And so, no, it was the last time, I think.
The last time was where he got caught with like a good cross. Lennox caught him with a good cross.
Well, I think this time Mike was on the floor. And
was that the first time he ever got knocked out?
I don't know. No. Because, you know, he had that Buster Douglas.
Oh, right.
But Mike was like sitting on the floor. And he was telling us, yo, I don't want to fight no more. It was me, Jewel, Slick, and Noah, and Zip. And Mike was sitting on the floor talking about he didn't want to fight no more. We like, yo, champ, what are you talking about, man? You about to do this, knock it out. You know, he said, man, I don't want to fight no more. He said, I just came back from Mexico. And the guy didn't even know me. And he spent over $300,000 with me. On me. Over $300,000 on me. And he didn't even know me. He said, I don't want to fight no more. So I know, I was like, yo, I put that story in my book.
Yeah. Do you think this is just because of the money, or he lost the passion, or what do you think it was?
I think Mike lost the passion a long time ago when Cus D'Amato died the way he did and everything like that. Because it could be that Mike's passion was in making Cus proud of him.
I just got goosebumps when you said that, because there's this clip of this is a difficult one, where he goes, if you could say one last thing to him, if you could have one last conversation, what would you say? And he pauses, and then he says, I'd ask, how did I do? So to your point, I think you're right. I think that quote sums up or symbolizes exactly what you said, which is, you know, this is a man who saved him and made him.
I know how I feel.
Yeah.
Because with my Papa Drake, the dude from Philly who raised me, my coach said, I wish he'd come to all the games.
Is this your father or your stepfather?
No, is a man who raised me to live down the block from me.
Really?
Yeah. And I talk to him. I talk about it in the book.
Yeah.
And I think that I just wanted to make sure that he knew that I was playing as hard, as doing as much as I possibly could. And it seemed like when he was at the game, I was just so proud that he was at the game. It made me play harder.
Yeah. How old were you when he passed away?
I was in college. I was out of college.
Yeah, that would have been hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, in many ways, it's kind of what do they say? You become the person for your children that would have looked after you, you know?
Right.
And I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, like you probably channel that energy now through to your daughters.
Well, they are a different breed. I should have never took them out the ghetto.
And your stepson as well, your stepson. Yeah.
It's certain people that should have never got out the ghetto.
Why? They're like the expensive things now. Hey, listen, my kid thinks I can just fly Mike Tyson out for him. You know what I mean? We grew up homeless as well. We didn't have any money, man. I had nothing. Had I didn't have a dad, and mum was on drugs most of the time. We had 4 boys, so my mum had 4 boys in a what do you call it over here? It's a project house. A government house. Yeah. There we go. No, but like our version. So we had so at one point there's this thing called a refuge, like where the women go to like escape. Right. And we were in like not a house but like a 4 square wall box with 4 boys. So I understand what you mean when you say like I think when you give your kids like everything you never had. Right. It's like they're living in a different world. You're like, you should taste some of this world. You know what I mean?
You learn that you give your kids enough to do something, but not enough to do nothing.
Those are very wise words. I know some kids who have enough to do nothing and they don't turn out too well. Brother, listen, this is, we've just blasted 2 hours. Yeah. Does that feel like, it felt like that was 20 seconds? No. Man, listen, I could ask you questions all day, but I'm a big fan of respecting people's time. Right. And listen, man, from the moment we got on the phone, like I knew from everything that I'd researched, your moral character. Like even I was saying, you're describing me. I'm like, yeah, man, this is how you are. Good moral character, good ethics. I think it takes a real man to stand up and do the right thing when everyone around you is doing the wrong thing, and it takes a real man to go against the grain.
I don't want to stop you right there.
Yeah, go.
But I'm going to give you this story.
Please.
About Deion Sanders. And this was way before the East Coast, West Coast wars and all this stuff. No, it wasn't. It was in the middle of the whole thing, right? We were in Deion Sanders' green room, right? And a football player had brought a tape in there. And this tape had a bunch of women on there with Dallas Cowboy uniforms on, jerseys. And they was doing a menage a trois. This was told to Deion. And the dude was like, let me pop it in the video so everybody could see it. And Deion said, nah, brother, you ain't gonna do that here. While he had this big plate with grapes and different fruits and stuff eating it. He was like, nah, in the middle of the stuff, you ain't gonna do that here? Hold on, let me holler at you. Brought the guy to the back. So I was like, yo, are we about to see this tape and everything like that? Ooh. So then the dude got the tape and left. Never saw it, never showed it and everything like that.
Who took the tape?
The dude who brought it in there to him.
Right.
Who was doing a menage a trois with all the girls with the Dallas Cowboy uniforms on.
Yeah.
With the Dallas Cowboy uniforms on. Deion said, nah, brother. So then I asked Deion. I was like, yo, Deion, why you ain't let him show the tape, bruh? He said, let me tell you something. He said, the people in Dallas love their Cowboys. He said, you could be doing 100, breaking the speed limit. The police will pull you over and you show that Dallas Cowboy card and they'll let you go if you're not drunk or intoxicated or anything. They'll let you slide. They love and they care about their Dallas Cowboy football team. If something like that would ever get out, it would be What he said it would be a tragedy, and they would never ever respect us as the Dallas Cowboy players again. I told him he needed to destroy that tape and let nobody see that. Right there, that showed me that you got to separate the men from the boys. Because as a boy, I wanted to see that tape. But as being the man that Deion Sanders is, I respected why I didn't get a chance to see that tape.
It's a very good story, Jane. That was a good one. You've, how do I say this? You've just summed up everything I was trying to articulate about you as a character in a story. So, like, thank you. That was beautiful. The last thing that I'll ask, which will cover us off in the same way we started, but when we first spoke and I said, listen, I just want to, like, I'm not here for clickbait, man. I just want to capture some legacy and have some fun. We just blasted 2 hours and felt like 20 seconds. So we've had some fun. The legacy capturing part, I think we got some good stories. We've talked about some of your loved ones, some of your life story. Obviously, shout out to these books. We'll put the link in the bio. Guys, run it up. Banger. I couldn't put it down. I'd like to conclude on, if you could have people remember one thing or one concept that encapsulates Gene Deal and your life, how you've lived it, if people could remember one thing about you, what would you want that to be?
That I never want to go too soon and I never want to be around too late.
And that was in your book as well, wasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, Gene Deal, that was 10 out of 10.
Hey,
thank you, my
appreciate
brother.
you, brother.
Really, man. Oh,
Right.
my God. Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
I knew that was going to be good, man, but that just fucking blew my you couldn't see, but like these guys are sitting there,
I
jaws on the floor. I was going to say we should have brought some popcorn. How you feel?
I'm all right. I'm good,
Yeah,
bro.
man. Whew.